Got him, dude.
Yep. Yep.
Got him.
All right, everybody, thanks again for tuning in. So summer is coming to an end, so that means we're getting in the river after king salmon. So I did an early season trip with a buddy, and we didn't get too technical on the fishing, but there are some bobber downs and some great king fights, so stay tuned for that. If you're not interested in seeing any of the king fights, I do a full rig breakdown in about as much detail as I felt like I could. So if you want to forward to the end and see that one, you're more than welcome to. But either way, we got the fishing, and then we got the breakdown of the rig coming up. If you guys are new to the channel, please subscribe to see more of these. Drop me a like if you enjoyed this video, send me a comment, and let's get on the water.
It's just too deep. They don't really torque this in here. Ooh. Don't know what that was, but that was new. What do you want to do?
I would be opposed to going back to Manistee for a little bit.
Got him. Yep. No fish, huh? No, you are not. Huh? Well, you sold yet?
Time for me to say that.
I have it on videotape too. That's what makes it so special. Sugar, I think I put a sulfite cure on these. So I put the fire cure and then I Boraxo fire them afterwards to toughen them up. Oh my gosh. Dude. Got him. Let's go, baby. I would just hold the line. You're good, dude. You're good. Just stand your ground. Stand your ground. Oh. No fish in this hole. Alec doesn't think there's fish in this hole.
What the fuck? Yeah, dude, this has been kind of weird.
Oh my gosh, don't whack me in the face, please. Oh, dude, that's... I mean, that's a nice one, but it's not huge, so I think you'll be good with that.
That's fun, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude, this is awesome. Oh, Mark, this is sick.
Yeah. Oh. I got it.
That's a female.
Got it? Rinse that off and hold it up for the camera. Oh, yes.
Shit, I didn't even have a stringer.
Dude.
What the fuck?
Hey, listen, I got an idea. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, baby. Huh? Well, I'm telling you, that's... Huh?
Just, it's like cotton candy.
Well, that would be a nice, a good sized bait because they'd have to take it, you know what I mean? That's a big one. That's a big one. That's a big one. It's coming. It's coming back. Oh, dude, don't leave me. It's so big. No fish, huh? That's a nice one too. Not yet, it's not ready. Oh my gosh. My drag is great. Easy girl. Easy girl, easy girl. I'm blessed that it's doing what it's doing, because this thing could have taken me down, baby. No. I think it's getting there. Oh yeah, baby. Oh shit. Oh, hold on. Not quite yet. Not quite yet. Huh? Is it? You like to eat fish, don't you? You don't want to eat it? You don't? Okay. Hold on. Don't let it go yet. Good. You got a good camera, don't you?
Yeah.
You just get, yeah, if you got them, that'd be awesome. Sweet. Try to get down to the bend so you don't get the knot making the pliers. It's right there, it's deep, it wasn't getting off. You ready? Whoa, buddy. Easy, kid. Yeah. Oh. No, he'll be fine. He already thrashed me a couple times. Oh my gosh. Go. Ready? Go. Right. Ready, go, buddy? Ready, go? Oh. All right, guys, so next what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break down the rig. Now I use a lot of different rigs, but this is probably one of the easiest and most affordable ways that you can get started fishing for salmon on the rivers, the harbors, river mouths, whatever you wanna do. So this is an Akuma SST float drift rod. It's 10'6". And on this rod, I have a Fluger. Now again, there are a lot of different reels you can get, but this is a great reel. I put these things through the ringer. They have never failed. The drag on them is great. So for the money, for a $60 to $80 reel, this is about as good as it gets in my opinion, especially when you're fishing for salmon, you're dropping your reel in the mud or the water, and you're getting a lot of use out of them. So this is a Fluger President, and this one specifically is the 35 model. Now they also have a 45 model, but you're gonna want a bigger reel because you're gonna want to put a lot of line on it, okay? So these reels need to be 35 or 45 or 30 or 40 depending on the brand, but you're gonna need one that's gonna be able to hold a lot of 30 to 40 pound line, okay? Next I have Suffix braid. Now again, You don't have to use suffix. Any braid will do, but I like to use 40 or 50 pound braid, okay? So this reel is spooled up with 40 pound braid currently, and that's what we're gonna be using. The reason I like braid as opposed to mono, I do use mono on my center pins, but if I'm using a spinning reel, after you get a few casts in with these and they get some water on them and they get a little bit wet, this line is gonna be really easy to manage, it's gonna float really well, and you can get some really good drifts out of this, especially in skinny water. So, with that being said, next we're gonna move on to our float, split shot hooks, and our terminal stuff. So this is a great way if you have a small child and they have small hands, they can easily send your line through the guides. In the event that you don't have a small child with you on your fishing trip, you could probably just set your reel in a tree or on a car so that it kind of hangs over the edge, and then you're able to do this a little bit easier. But just for time today, I'm using my son for cheap labor. All right, so the line's through the guide. So the next step is we're gonna use, now this is a fixed float. Now this is a Blood Run float. I don't have any affiliation with Blood Run. I just happen to like these. These are the floats I've been using for a really long time. And the ones I like for salmon are gonna be the 11 gram or the 15 gram. Just easier to see, especially in low light conditions. So these are the floats we're gonna be using today, 15 gram Blood Run. The tubing does come separate, so make sure if you guys are purchasing these floats or getting the tubing separate, it'll come in like probably a 1 foot pack of, you'll get an orange and you'll get clear. So the orange is gonna go on first. You're just gonna send your line through there. Now the nice thing is I don't have to really do anything with it right now. May have to wet it to get it to go through the tubing. All right, so now we got our tubing on. We're gonna attach our float shortly. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna apply, we're gonna use a rolling swivel or a barrel swivel or a power swivel. There's a lot of companies that make these. My recommendation that you would buy something like, I know SPRO makes a good one, Blood Run makes a good one, VMC makes a good one, and this is 55 pound test. You're gonna want something strong, 50 pound test or greater when you're fishing for these. Okay, so now, when we're using braid, I'm gonna tie something called an improved clinch knot. So, I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see this, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through the eye, and I'm gonna go around, and I'm gonna go back through again. Now again, like I said, you're probably not gonna be able to see this. That's okay, I'm sure there's a video of somebody doing a close-up of an improved clinch knot. So now I'm gonna have basically 2 loops, or sorry, I'm gonna have 1 loop, just like that, sticking out. Okay, I'm gonna pull the line out a little bit. Then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna wrap, I'm gonna create an additional loop, pinch it between my thumb and forefinger, and I'm gonna wrap the line around 7 or 8 times. And then I'm gonna feed it through both loops. This is where it gets fun because the line will be frayed and limp and it won't want to go in, and there we go. We made it. So you're gonna pull it all tight. Now what that additional loop in the beginning does is it prevents line slip. So your braid, at no point in time will it slip and this knot come free. So that knot will stay for as long as you want it to. I'm just gonna remove the tag end. These are great scissors, by the way. If you guys don't have these Rapala scissors, they're braid shears, I believe is what they're called. These are cheap and they're great for, getting a few pairs of these. You can use one for cutting skein if you're out on the river and you're cutting up little pieces of bait. They cut braid like a breeze, and obviously they'll cut monofilament as well. So great to have. All right, so the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set this aside. So now I'm prepped to put my float on. I have my swivel. Now I'm gonna tie my hook. Now today what I'm using is a Gamakatsu octopus hook, 2-aught. Now here's the thing with these. Most states have regulations, and there's a certain amount of gap between the point and the shank of the hook. Make sure you check with your state, your local regulations to ensure that you're not using too big of a hook. You want it to be, I know in Michigan it's a 1/2 inch from the shank to the point, so just make sure you check those. I know for a fact that these are within the legal limit, so that's why we're using these today. There's other, again, brands like Blood Run. I believe a 2/0 and 3/0 hook would also be within that legal limit. But again, make sure that you check. Take a ruler and just measure it yourself, and then at any point in time if you get approached by a conservation officer, you can be assured that your hook is not going to get you a ticket. Okay, so I'm going to tie an egg loop knot on this. So again, this is where it may be a little tricky to see, but I'm going to try to walk you guys through how I tie an egg loop knot. I'm going to remove about 3 feet of Seagar STS. Now again, most fluorocarbons will do. I happen to love this brand. This is a brand that I've always used, Steelhead Salmon. This does not, this will hold up well. It doesn't get nicks and break. And again, a lot of fish landed on this with no issues. I've had fish where I've had to put the brakes on, a 10, 15 pound fresh king. And actually in this video, you're gonna see me put the brakes on a king and the hook pulls. It doesn't break. So again, this is a great leader material and I do recommend it. All right, next we're gonna tie our egg loop knot. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna go through the eye along the shank like that, okay? Then the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna wrap it around. I like to do it about 10 times. 1, 2. Now I'm gonna take these 2 fingers and I'm gonna pull it down. And then I'm gonna take the other end of my leader line. Made that a little too long. And I'm gonna feed it back through like this. And then I gotta grab the other piece now that is laying across the shank. Now I'm gonna take this piece that I had earlier held in my middle finger and I'm gonna start wrapping again. Another 8 to 10 wraps. Now I'm gonna hold it away from the hook. Now I'm gonna grab this here and I'm gonna pull. Oh, we're about to have a problem. It's being a booger. Sometimes you gotta kind of reposition yourself. That's okay though, as long as you just keep your hands on all this. There we go, now we're moving. And if you want, sometimes what I'll do when it starts bunching up is I'll hold it in my mouth. And there you got, as you can see, I pull that out now and I got a loop for my skein. That's where you're gonna put your eggs, and that knot knot's not going anywhere. So there's your loop again. Push the line back. You get your loop in there. And that's where you put your eggs. And then once you get your eggs in there, it'll cinch on them like that. All right, so now we got our hook tied to our leader. I'm gonna trim off this tag end here. I want about 2-3 feet. So we should be good about there. Now I'm gonna go back to my swivel that I had tied on before. And I'm gonna tie just a basic fisherman's knot. So this is just gonna be like so, through the eye, pinch it. I'm gonna wrap it around about 8 times. go back through the loop. Again, sorry if you guys can't see this, but can only, it's tough to, there you go. All right, so now we got it through the loop. No, we don't. Stop it. Okay, there. Now we got it through the loop. So now that it's there, you want to moisten it. And then you want to slowly pull that all closed. Just like that. Now, again, you guys, this knot, I haven't had one break yet. I haven't had one break in a long time. So now that I have everything hooked up, I'm going to take my hook. Because we want to be safe when we're doing this. I don't want to have my hook flinging around or dangling. So now I'm going to reel up all my slack line till it's taut. Just like that. So, next thing we're going to do is we're going to apply our split shot. So, these are the split shot I like to use now. I'm actually considering going to an inline sinker. I've never used them before, but everyone seems to like them. Just kind of eliminates the need to bulk shot. But bulking shot does give you a little more flexibility if you want to spread it out. If you're fishing a really long hole and you want a vertical presentation, this is a great way to do it. Inline sinkers are a great way to get your bait down right now, but when I am staggering my shot, I like to use these. Now, you'll have to obviously figure out how much each split shot weighs. If you go with different companies, some show ounces, some show grams. So this is a 15 gram float, so that means that's about how much weight it can handle. So you got to make sure when you're factoring in how many split shot, you also have to factor in that you're going to have a giant ball of eggs on the end that are probably going to weigh about as much as one of these. So again, usually I've kind of done the math ahead of time on these, and I can tell you right now that if you are fishing with a 15 gram float, you're going to have, if you want to bulk your shot, you're going to have 4 at the swivel, and then you can stagger 3 on the leader, and you won't be able to do any more than that. If you're fishing with a small piece of skein, that's going to take your bobber right to the line, which is going to be about all you want. That way when the fish puts any little bit of pressure or pulls on that ever so slightly, it's going to drop that float underwater. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and put our split shot on the leader. You can use pliers, don't use your teeth. It's not going to have a great outcome. All right, so now we've got our 4 split shots up above the swivel. You want to make sure and stay away from knots when you're putting your shot on. I don't go near the knots. And then I have my 3 staggered on my leader. And then you can move these around once you've casted out a few times and you want to start moving your shot. I don't like to do it right away because usually they bite into the line after they've kind of gotten jolted around a little bit and they've been in the water. You'll have a little more flexibility to move these around and maybe retighten them based on the depth of the hole. You can move them a little closer together, closer to the terminal end, or essentially wherever you want. So just an FYI on that. Now we're basically ready to fish. Now we're going to take our orange piece of tubing. You take your float. You're going to insert the top there. Then you're going to pull the bottom up, and you're going to slide it all the way up on there. Just like that. I like to have just a little bit poking out at the bottom. It makes it kind of come straight down a little bit better. The line doesn't tend to move away from the float as easily. So that's how I like to set it up. And that's the rig. So now all we got to do is put some eggs on there, cast it out, and catch a fish on it. So hopefully this was informative. And yeah, back to the video. All right, you guys, that about wraps it up for this week's video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I know I love getting after some of these early season kings, and I'm going to be doing a lot more of this in the future. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can be notified when I post a new video. For those of you guys that have stuck around, I just want to give a big thanks. I appreciate all of you guys that have stayed subscribed, those of you that have commented, those of you that have hit that like button and share this video. Again, I do appreciate it, and there's going to be some cool stuff coming up in the future, so I apologize. Some of the last few videos haven't been great, but hopefully this one kind of kicks it off and they begin to improve as we go out throughout the salmon season and into steelhead season. So again, I appreciate all of you guys. I just want you to know that.
And if you guys do enjoy this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Send me a comment. I will respond to all my comments as long as it's not asking me where my fishing spot is. And until I see you guys out on the water next time, tight lines.